Wait, you're a Bears fan and you're not subscribed to my channel? Before this video starts, make sure to 1. Hit the subscribe button below to catch all Bears content right here on this podcast. 2. Hit the bell notification because you, my friend, are a diehard Bears fan. And 3. Like this video and tell all the Bears fans you know about the channel. Alright, that's better. Now that you're actually subscribed to the channel, make sure to bear down and enjoy this video.
You're listening to Keek on the Mic.
Keek on the Mic.
A podcast all about the Chicago Bears. This podcast starts right now.
Keek on the Mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Before we get this episode started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram page at Keek on the Mic. Make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. If you truly love the Bears, you will do it. So today, we are going to do the final mock draft, and I thought it was appropriate to bring on the legend himself, my dad. What's going on, Dad?
What's going on, son?
You know, you've been on a lot of Keek on the Mic podcasts now.
Yeah, I have.
And I think it's because you're the reason I'm a Bears fan. I know I say this every single time, but it's true.
Yeah, you are a Bears fan because of me.
Yeah, that's true. You know, when people ask me, they're like, "Why are you a Bears fan?" I'm like, "My dad."
Yeah.
You know, that it's just the truth. So, like I said, it was appropriate to bring on my dad for the final Bears 7-round mock draft with trades. So, we're pumped up for the draft. How are you feeling about this Thursday?
Oh man, I'm nervous, but I'm anxious. Nervous and anxious.
Yeah, that's most Bears fans right now. You know, and it's really fun and cool to see all the mock drafts on the Bleacher Report app. There's a lot of creativity on the app. A lot of Bears fans want us to move up. A lot of Bears fans stay at 20. Not a lot of people want us to move down. It's either stay put or move up.
Right.
From a lot of these Bears fans, which, okay, that's their opinion. But how we're gonna do this, we're gonna go back and forth from round 1 all the way to round 6, and I'm gonna let my dad start it off.
Okay, well, we're gonna start off this year, baby. I mean, man, it's tough. I know the fans want to move up and get that franchise quarterback, but I just don't feel it because I feel like if we get that franchise quarterback, that means if we move up to give up all that capital, that means that guy has to come in and play right away.
Right.
And there's no reason to get Dalton. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's no reason to go all the way up to, because you would probably have to go to at least number 4 or number 5.
Yeah, to get the quarterback you want.
To get the quarterback that you want. So in my mock draft, I'm staying put at 20. My mock draft is no trades. I'm just going 1 through 6, and my first round pick is going to be tackle Tevin Jenkins, Oklahoma State.
That's my favorite player in this year's draft. I've been telling you guys this for the longest time. He's nasty. The last tackle or last guard, whatever Kyle Long was, the last offensive lineman we drafted, Kyle Long, had that nasty edge to him. That's what Tevin Jenkins will bring to Chicago Bears. I love that pick. I really do. So my path to my first round pick is a little bit different. And for the longest time, you guys know this already, I want to trade down. I think it's smart to add draft capital, especially since we don't really have a lot when it comes to the 4th round or, I know we have a 5th round pick, but it really sucks that we don't have a 4th round pick. So what I do is I do a double trade in the 1st round. The Jaguars get pick number 20 and 164, which I think is a 5th. And we get 25 and 33. Then I trade again, and I send our 25th pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and 228, which is one of our 6th. And we get 32, 64, and 95. People, what I just did right here is masterful. I got a 1st, 3 seconds, and I think, 2/3 now?
Right. By
trading down twice. This is realistic. This can actually happen. If Ryan Pace plays this right and we can't get the quarterback that we want, trade down, please.
Right.
Just trade down. And with my 1st round selection, I'm also taking Tevin Jenkins. He's still going to be there at 32, people.
Yes.
Trust me, he's going to be there.
He's freaking nasty. He's a beast.
So
he's a beast.
You are going on to round 2 now.
Round 2. I was kind of unsure about this pick, man, because I didn't know how things was going, and then I've been looking at all the drafts and stuff like that, and they're saying how all these second tier, third tier quarterbacks are going to get overdrafted. So, but I'm still going to stay with this pick. And my second pick is going to be wide receiver Kadarius Toney out of Florida.
Great pick. Just in my last podcast, I talked about the players that the Bears should be drafting, and he is definitely on my list. He could be a first round pick.
Right.
If you stay at 20 and he's the best player available,
Right.
they may take him.
Right.
So it just depends how the cards fall to the Chicago Bears. But great player, great wide receiver. He's a slot, and he can be a returner. And obviously, we just let go of Cordell Patterson, so we definitely need someone to take that spot. So
Exactly.
great pick all around. So obviously, I have 3 second-round picks, or maybe it's just 2. But with the 33rd overall pick, I took Dylan Raduns, tackle, North Dakota State. Love the guy.
Oh,
He really came to life in the Senior Bowl. That's where he got noticed and his stock rised. Really love the guy. I kind of hope that we can get Trey Lance and then him and package them together. That would be awesome. With my second, at 52, I took Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Mississippi. Once again, great receiver. That would be a great pick at that point in the second round. The quarterbacks are going to go off the board quick.
Yes, they are.
I could have considered taking Kellen Mond or Davis Mills right here at this pick. So I'm taking a risk
Right.
not drafting either one of those quarterbacks.
Right.
But I just felt like it was necessary at this point in the draft to
Right.
get a playmaker, especially when Andy Dalton's our guy.
Right. Exactly. So for me in the third round, and this is when I thought, okay, they were like, oh, he's a third rounder, he's a second day guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get my quarterback. I know a lot of Chicago Bears fans don't like Kellen Mond, but after the 5 that goes, he's probably the next best quarterback, him and Trask.
Right.
But I'm going to go, my round 3 pick is going to be Kellen Mond, Texas A&M. He's a 4-year starter.
Yep.
And the division that he plays in.
Nasty, yeah.
He plays with Alabama and all those other guys. So he's played against good competition.
Absolutely.
He ain't playing against cupcakes.
Right.
And I think all in all, because we're going to take this guy and he's going to sit a year or two, and he's going to end up being the next Dak Prescott. Watch.
Right. And when looking at him, he just looks like a freaking avatar. He runs fast. He like you said, he needs to sit for a year. He needs to develop for sure. But great pick. I think the Bears are gonna have to reach on one of these quarterbacks.
Right.
If they want a quarterback, you're gonna have to reach, or else you're gonna have to wait and get Ian Book later, or Sam Ellinger, or one of those guys. I'm not sure if they want those guys.
Right.
So I did make a mistake. I did have 3 second-round picks. I took Kellen Mond late in the second.
Oh, okay.
With pick number 68. So I took Kellen Mond a little bit earlier. I think he's going to be there throughout the second, but there is a possibility that he can go early second. So I'm just hoping that he's there late in the second.
Right.
And I took Kellen Mond. But with my third round pick, I decided to go safety. Jamar Johnson, safety, Indiana. The Bears have been shuffling safeties for the longest time. It's about time for them to pick a safety pretty high, probably in the first 3 rounds at least, maybe, and try to stop shuffling these safeties.
Right.
He has some issues with tackling, which kind of concerns me because Eddie Jackson has some concerns with tackling. So
Then I wouldn't pick him.
right.
I mean,
But-
if he can't tackle, I don't want him because we need him to play in the box. And
Right.
if you can't tackle, you can't play in the box.
And it's just one of those picks at this point that he was the best player available on the
Right.
board. So that's why I took Jamar Johnson.
Got it. And we didn't have a 4th round pick, so I'm skipping over to the 5th.
You didn't have a 4th round
Well,
pick.
I didn't have, because I didn't do trades. So in my 5th round pick, I picked linebacker Justin Hillard at Ohio State.
Great pick. You said a 5th round.
Yep.
That's a great spot. And people, we have to realize Danny Trevathan is getting old.
Yeah.
He's a great linebacker, but I think it's about time to bring in another linebacker because our backups are not really that great.
Right.
So you need to bring in some competition, some young bucks to compete with these guys.
Yes.
So great pick right there. So at number 95, pick 95, I took a guard, Kendrick Green out of Illinois, which I believe that's a 4th round pick, 95, somewhere around there. I don't know the orders or the numbers. Took another guard. I'm really focusing on the offensive line. That was my mindset going into this draft. The Bears need to shore up their offensive line. if Andy Dalton is your guy, protect him. You can still get your quarterback and get some weapons.
That's right.
So that was important for me. And then my 5th round pick, which I believe is pick 114, I took another, I think that's my second receiver. Yeah, I took another receiver, Cade Johnson, wide receiver, South Dakota State. He's been in pretty much all my mock drafts. Really like the guy, really good, solid receiver. Like I said, bring in the weapons, bring in the offensive linemen. Let's focus on offense this draft.
Right. It's about time. I mean, the defense is pretty stacked, man. There's a couple of holes, man, but it's not as many holes on the defense as it is on the offense.
Right.
And I've said this time and time again. That's how you build a team, is build through the offensive line. If you looked at the one time when the Dallas Cowboys did it, they were like in the last place. Then they focused on their offensive line.
Right.
And they got their running back, and now they got their quarterback. They're kind of banged up on the line now, man, but that's how they got good, is that offensive line.
Right.
So now round 6, we have 4 picks. So my first pick is going to be, I hope I don't mess this guy's name up, Khyiris Tonga.
Yeah.
D tackle, BYU.
He's been in a lot of my mock drafts. I think he was in my first 3. And you could never have enough good, big defensive linemen, to me. Right. I know we don't want to say this, Bears fans, but Akeem Hicks as well. His time's coming to an end. I think if he has another season where he gets hurt and misses games, there's a good chance that Akeem Hicks will not be a Bear.
Right.
And I hate to say that because I love Akeem Hicks.
I do too.
But we need to bring in some more defensive linemen. You can go ahead and announce your others too.
And then my second pick, and don't blow me up, Bears fans, but just listen. I'm going to get Ian Book. I am a Notre Dame freak. I love Notre Dame football. I've watched Ian Book all 4 or 5 years that he's been there. I watched him here in Sacramento. He's from Oak Ridge High School. Mm-hmm. It's a great pick. He might even go higher. I don't know. He knows how to manage the game. I'm going to let him and Kellen Mond battle it out.
Yep.
And whoever wins the job, wins the job. The other one's going to go on the practice squad. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing. If he makes it to the 6th round, obviously no one's going to want him.
Right.
You know? So you'll be safe putting Ian Book on the practice squad. Love the pick. I've been getting bashed about Ian Book for the last couple of months leading up to the draft. I think it's because we watched Notre Dame football. We've seen the guy. He's from around here. So I think that makes it better. Ian Book's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that sneaks into the 6th round, gets picked by like a New England Patriots team, and he ends up being a stud.
Yep.
I think he just needs the chance. He needs the right opportunity. And I think if he's there, that would be a great pick in the 6th round.
Right. And then my last 2 picks, I just say best player available. I mean, this is where Ryan Pace makes his money. Mm-hmm. He's never did us wrong in his 3rd through 6th round. He's never done us wrong.
Nope.
I think he's nails during this round. So the next 2 picks, best player available, and I'm okay with whoever he picks because I know that he does a good job in this time.
Yeah, not only best player available, but Ryan Pace usually does a really good job of trading up or down in these rounds and finding this hidden talent like Darnell Mooney. Who in the hell was Darnell Mooney?
Right.
And Bears fans, you can't sit here and tell me. Last year when we drafted Darnell Mooney, everyone was like, he's small. He's too skinny.
Yeah, who was that?
Who the hell is Darnell Mooney?
Right.
Now, he's going to probably be our future number 1 receiver.
Right.
So I trust Ryan Pace when it gets to the 6th round.
They even said that about Tariq Cohen, man. We picked him in the 4th round because he was from a black college.
Right.
You know, who was Tariq Cohen?
Right. And that's the thing about Ryan Pace is that he drafts off conviction and that feeling in his gut, which sometimes you can't be like that. Sometimes you need to draft best player available.
Right.
But he somehow, in some way, he finds hidden talent in the late rounds. I just wish he can do it in the first 3 rounds.
Right.
You know, and maybe we would be a better football team if he did that.
But hopefully with having Matt Nagy, supposed to be this quarterback guru, and you got all those other quarterback gurus in the room.
Yep.
Maybe they can finally get this quarterback thing right.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of going quarterback after quarterback. Green Bay Packers had 2 fucking quarterbacks.
Right.
2.
To our what? 20?
Right. And it's time to get this shit right.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of want I'm kind of iffy about listing the rest of my picks because I'm saying with my dad, it's just best player available at this point. I picked up a cornerback, I picked up a center, an edge rusher, and then I took Sam Ehlinger with my 7th round pick that I gained by trading. I did a lot of trades in this last mock draft. And the only reason why I took Sam Ehlinger out of Texas is because we just hired one of their ex-head coaches. He coached Sam Ehlinger. So it's going to be like the same situation. Bring this guy in, compete with Kellen Mond. I don't care if he's a 7th round pick.
Right.
Tom Brady was a 6th.
Right.
So it's like sometimes that's the best course of action. Bring in these guys, load up on offensive line, load up on receivers, and let these guys compete.
And the thing that's funny, you can say that he's a 7th round pick, but Charles Leno was a 7th round pick.
Right.
Yeah, you can talk bad about Charles Leno all you want, but he was a 7th round pick, and he's done pretty damn well. Yeah, he has his bumps in the road, but he's done pretty damn well for being a 7th round pick.
Right. So this is going to be a really, really intriguing draft. We do not know what the Chicago Bears are going to do. I want them to trade down, but if I had to make any bets, I think they're going to trade up and get that quarterback, especially if you see Trey Lance or Justin Fields drop to that 8 spot, they're trading up to get their quarterback.
And you're probably right, but I just want to let you Bears fans know that if they trade up to get that quarterback, they're going to be there for 3 more years.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And just like my dad said at the beginning of the podcast, if we trade up for a quarterback, not only do they have 3 more years on that contract, well, at least Matt Nagy does. That quarterback needs to play after a year. Right. Maybe even right away. He may come in and compete with Andy Dalton. So I know you guys want your quarterback, and I do too. I truly want a quarterback, and I would be happy with Trey Lance or Justin Fields. But I would expect them to play, especially if we're going to give up so much capital to go get them.
Right.
So is there any last thoughts before we wrap it up and prepare for the draft?
Oh, man, I'm just going to watch it and hold my breath, and hopefully everything goes right the way that we want it. But all in all, man, we're just fans. I mean, we can sit here and bitch and moan, but I'm a true Bears fan, and no matter what they do, they can go 0-16, and I'm still going to root for the Chicago Bears.
That just means a high draft pick next year.
Right.
More exciting.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
But Dad, thank you so much for coming on. You're always welcome on the show anytime. Do not forget that I'm actually going to go live on draft night, and you can get my live reactions of all the picks, not just the Bears. So if the Bears do something fucking crazy, you're going to get my live reaction live. So make sure you join me. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific time because I live in California. But make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram page at Keek on the Mic. And make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll catch you guys for an all-new Bears episode right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.